I got it. So, welcome back to Solomon's Crown.
What's up? What's up?
Today we are going to take a break from being feminist because we just need to get on different topics. I think we've beaten a dead horse long enough, but you know, as they say, repetition is the only way to success. Or did I just make that up?
They probably just made it up.
I
But
bet.
you
But
see the title, Charleston White, Bloods and Crips, GDs and BDs don't own anything, restaurants, stores, or nothing. So let's get straight into the video.
which is kind of interesting.
What stuck out with me, man, like, when you were going at the Bloods and Crips, you were saying that, like, these Bloods and Crips, they don't have a chicken shack. They don't got a laundromat.
No.
They don't show up to the PTA meetings. They don't show up to field day. Like, dive into that. I want to hear your perspective on that.
Well, when you think about gangsterism from what we know of it as, the Americans, Italian gangsters, right? The Sicilian crew. Man, they had their hands in construction. They had businesses. They had deli shops. They had a lounge where they could all go hang up at it. They had when you think about Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas and American Gangsters, even the ones down here, Billy Ray Maddox, say homie Boot Note, all these guys had businesses.
Bruh, already, like, I don't know, no gang members that own anything, period.
Zero.
Like, I mean, definitely in other countries, when you walk into like a gang bar, because it's just like high tension, like you got the bouncer who's just literally looking at you, being like, all right, cool. Yo, you walk into a bar, it's like, yo, you spending money or not? Period. Because you're not just about to be hanging out. Like, they don't know who you are. Like, and if you ain't got business in there, you ain't got business in there, period.
Exactly.
As Americans, we can walk into a lot of these bars just because they know we got money, things like that. But you stay in there long enough and you'll start to realize that I mean,
you gotta get your stuff and get out.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's certain bars we went to, started drinking and be like, nah, this ain't the vibe. And then we just dip because no good is going to come out of staying in there longer, getting drunk. We had guys get held in bars because of gang members. Like I'm not even gonna say their name, but either way, the Japanese gangs, like, and the Nigerians and like all that stuff. But either way, that's just experiences. But in America, you just get shot by gang members, bro. Like out in the street, walking to Walmart, like low key on a bike, on a skateboard, just like, hey, shoot this, beat his ass, like jump him, just because it's Thursday, bro. Like, imagine like walking to school at 6:35 and gang members is already up. Like, bro, that shit used to be wild. That gang members would literally be up at like 6:30 in the morning, ready to fight people. Like, and it's probably because they've been up all night, like on drugs, shit like that. But let's just get back into it.
Right? They had businesses that they operate out of and done their illegal criminal activities out of. You get to the Crips and Bloods. They don't have nothing, homie. They don't have no dispensaries. They don't have no tire shops. They don't have no element of a business sense in the community to have so much reign and control over the community other than the violence they project. They don't build the park up. They don't do like Grove Hero. They don't do like Grove Hero, nigga, and build a basketball park for these kids and make sure they got the bright gold with the nets. They don't even help bury nobody that they got their hand in having, been caused to destruction because they was a part of our group.
And that's a big thing too, is like, if I don't know what happened to like the gang heads, like the top dogs, like back in the day used to know, like, they were business mindseted. Like, You think about like a lot of people don't like him, but like E40, like when E40 dropped music, everybody used to be like, "Oh, why you listen to E40? Why you listen to E40?" Like if you listen to E40, he literally drops knowledge. Like, and look at him now. He has his own tequila. He has his own wine. Uh, I think he was doing glizzies too. Like, bro, like the man is an entrepreneur, but he started off like around this gang mentality and was like, "Yo, this ain't it." And the thing is like owning a business in the hood is more influential than being the top gang member in the hood, bro. Like you own a business that is protected, that you can literally run, like just have your protection, just like have your gang members in there. Just like imagine, like I mean,
I mean, that's easier said than done
I
because
get it.
look at what happened to Nipsey Hussle. Rest in
I
peace.
mean, but that's the thing is like
It's
he should have real life started his shit in like Hollywood, like Hollywood Boulevard, stuff like that, like where people would have to like actually come and have money. I don't think that starting it in Crenshaw was like that was his downfall, low key. And the thing was is like gang beef is like eternal. Like you got people out, like you got rappers right now going to jail over gang beef, and it's like, bro, what are you beefing about? You don't even live in that hood no more.
but I mean, all of this just stems from the rampant tribalism and just divisiveness that people could say came from slavery or whatnot, just putting us at odds with each other because Charleston White mentioned the Italians. A
Yeah,
lot of these immigrant groups, like the Japanese, the Chinese, or the Traz, the Japanese
Africans,
Yakuza,
even that.
yeah, even the Africans, they come to America knowing that they only have themselves.
Yeah,
So instead of fighting each other, why don't
we work
we
together.
work together, whether through illegal or legal means, build up our base and have our own stuff so we don't
Yeah.
have to depend on the government or XYZ or other people
Or
to
just
feed our
having a
own people.
safe haven where you can like literally be like, yo, my grandma's cooking Italian food, like from Italian or from Italy, like where we
Yeah,
don't have to go back home. But like, I think that's the biggest thing about like the actual black community is like all our shit is not like traditional. It's like, okay, barbecuing and all that stuff is just like, yo, we just giving
no
each other
traditions.
high
Yeah.
cholesterol, diabetes, like all this stuff that's eventually killing us, bro. Like, what was it, Big Mama's house, where she had to get what her leg or arm amputated, and it was just because of the soul food, like,
Excuse
or
me.
that's what it
Yeah,
was, soul food.
yeah.
But like,
But
that was like a movie that hit when we were younger because it
mhm.
was just like that was. I remember being young, but we'll do it at the end. We'll just finish this up.
There's no rewards. There's no, they don't have. I once done community work with a gang, a Hispanic gang here in Fort Worth. Man, they had a treasurer, they had a secretary, they had a guy where if one of the homies need to borrow money, he could go over and borrow money at the treasurer from the group, but he got to pay it back. Well, if he don't pay it back, we know he got a 70-inch screen TV. We go get his TV till he pay us back. But the money goes into that pot.
Mhm.
And that's another thing too, is like I've seen these communities literally be like, yo, we're gonna buy the block. Like, so they all invest into one house, then the next person they invest into the next house, and then they invest into the next house. And you see these communities with
With flourish, man.
like Filipinos,
Yeah.
Somalians, things like that, and they all have home ownership, bro. It's like we own all 5 of these houses. It's 5 different families, and then they can just bring their families into the country and be like, yo, you can live here. We got a tire shop, we got a restaurant, like all types of stuff. So
Yeah, because I even mentioned this before. I have a coworker. He was Korean, or he is Korean. Not was Korean. He is Korean, but he was saying that he was even saying like on the East Coast, you go to Koreatown, you literally have Korean students who come from South Korea, and
learning
they stay.
English.
Not even that is that they go to school, they overstay their visa, so technically they're illegal. But the economy, the micro economy of Koreatown is so built up, they literally could work under the table, have a house, or apartment, you know, utilities, food, and all this stuff paid for, and they don't need to touch
Hey,
government.
yeah,
Yeah, they don't have to be
exactly.
legal on paper because they're good.
And
I mean,
even though those things
yeah.
get cracked down, like it's not as common as people think.
Yeah.
Like there's people who live their entire like 60, 80 year life, like
Not
literally,
knowing, not knowing
yeah,
English, just
never,
working
never
at,
paying taxes,
yeah.
never like being to a US government building or like
Mm.
anything. So
These OGs, homie, they make requirements where if I'm from this hood, I have to come back and report. I can't stay gone 2, 3, 4, 5 years. If I go get a job somewhere, I have to send something back from my job if my job can be beneficial to the hood.
Right.
If I lose my job doing that, you guys have no safety net for me. There's no rewards, there's no benefits, there's nothing that they offer their members. And so I'm saying, okay, what do they offer the community for us to?
you know what they do offer their members? If you go to jail, they'll definitely long pipe your girl. So
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Man.
It's like, damn, I hope this motherfucker go to jail today because like his girl is bad. Like, but
Not snitch on them. What do they offer the community for us to provide a level of protection to keep the police from getting them? Just because they're our brother? Well, most of our brothers who live in our households who claim gangs rule the household with fear. They intimidate everybody.
Mhm.
So even the people they live with is somewhat afraid to say something to them. When they come around, everybody's uncomfortable. What's the benefit do y'all offer us? There's no exchange. So we being robbed as a community.
I'll even give you this example for those people who know the historical facts of Pablo Escobar or
Hold up.
even watch a show. So one of the reasons why Pablo Escobar was so powerful, right, was not necessarily the fear that he could enact or the amount of money that he had, was that in this hometown of Medellin, when he was going up, he wanted to be a mayor, right? Outside of his illegal activities, he wanted to be not a mayor, he wanted to be president of Colombia. So he would buy school supplies, build up schools, houses, all sorts of infrastructure, give away money, everything. So of course his hometown loved him. No matter what he did, like the atrocities that he did, like he always could go to Medellin and he would be safe because they would be like, "Oh, Don Pablo, like, yeah, I remember you. You bought the house that me and my family live in, or Don Pablo. I remember you gave out free food and whatever when we were hungry on the road." But obviously the government wasn't doing shit for them. It was up until Pablo abused that trust and that thing that he brought up, the community that he fostered. And I think he like did some kind of car bomb, or I shouldn't say that word on
yeah,
YouTube, would probably get demonetized, but or not demonetized, but flagged. But
it was a
he did
surprise birthday
yeah, a
card
surprise,
exchange.
a surprise birthday at a particular roadside involving a car.
It was a
And he
fireworks stand.
yeah, and he deleted
Mm.
a couple of children, right, in that surprise. And because of that, people were like, okay, that's it, like this dude, he gotta go.
Yeah. And then he
So
was
my point,
exposed for it. But
yeah, so my point is, as Charleston White was saying, is that we have no infrastructure, we don't own anything, especially in the hood. We don't have like all the liquor shops, all the other stuff, more often than not, they're not our own. So it's kind of like, okay, you have these black criminals. If they do XYZ on the streets outside of the fear that they can exert, what reward does the people have to keep this guy from jail? What incentive do they have not to snitch?
no, you get more money for snitching. And like low key, after the gang members done busted out your window, robbed you, like shot the dude at the liquor store so that the liquor store is shut down.
Mhm.
Like imagine like being like, yo, every morning I go to this deli to get a
Mhm.
sandwich for my daily work. And then one morning you wake up and they're just like, oh, last night some dudes ran up in the deli, robbed the place. And now that's the only deli spot in the hood that you could go to. And the thing is like I lived this, like where I grew up, like literally, like they used to shoot the liquor store up like damn near every couple months. Like literally every time I go, like, and that thing was wild because I used to go in there all the time. But like you literally go into these spots and it'd be like in and out. Like literally, like I know what I'm getting low. Let me get this. Like here's cash. Like most of the time you just be like, yo, keep the change, bro. Like if it was anything under like $5, like yo, keep the change, bro. Like I'm good. Like I got to get out of here. Like because there's a lot of spots like that. I mean, even like walking home in general, we used to have this one spot called the Four Corners of Death, and it's literally like where four different gangs territories like meet in one location. So like you could get jumped by Crips, you could get jumped by Bloods, you could get jumped by some random dudes, like just thinking you want to fight, like crackheads on top of that. Like it was just wild out there, and this is just like gang violence, bro. Like my story where I got shot. I was literally walking home from JC Penney's because I missed the bus. Uh my phone died, so I was like, all right, bet I'll walk. I was used to walking. Walk home, car drives by me. They park at the bottom of the hill. I'm used to people walking up on me in the middle of the night, go, yo, where you from? This, and that. So I'm just like not thinking anything of it. Dudes walk up on me, hey yo, where you from? I was like, bro, I'm literally in the JC Penney shirt. Like, I'm trying to just get home. All right, bet. Bang, bang, bang. 3 shots. And I'm just like, okay, we take off in opposite directions. I'm not even thinking about like I got shot. I'm just like, oh, like these dudes just shooting guns. Go up the hill, get like halfway up the hill. Then that's when it clicks in my head, like, yo, am I shot? Maybe it's like my adrenaline started rushing, and then like everything started becoming more clear. Look on my side, I got shot. Immediately see the blood go in the shot. But like even in that scenario, like I went up the hill to the AMPM and some chick was literally buying beer. And I was like, yo, I got shot. What did she do? Left her change in the like little tray, got her beer, dipped off, skirted off, like out the parking lot, bro. I was like, yo. Luckily the girl in AMPM was like, but I get why she did that, because like if I was getting chased, they would have just came up there and shot everybody. Because like that's how
Damn, dude.
serious the gangs are, bro. Like where it's just like, oh, if we want to kill this dude, we about to shoot everybody here. And it's like, what are
That's
you doing
wild.
for the community at that
Not
point
doing
besides
damn
installing
thing.
fear? It's
Not
like
doing a
people
damn
don't want to
thing.
be outside after a certain point. Like you can't walk the streets. Like if you got a late job, like people will be like, nah, I can't work past 10 o'clock. I gotta catch my bus. Like, and the thing is, like, I was making so much money at JCPenney's working like the time and a half after like midnight, but like I literally had to walk home at some nights. And it's just like you should be able to walk home in your own hood. Like I grew up in San Diego. What we moved there when I was like 3, 4. So I've been living in San Diego since I was 4, and I got shot when I turned 18, going on 19. And that's San Diego, California, bro. Like that's not even like
To be honest, that low key would really happen in other communities. Because I mean, I'm not condoning illegal activities, but it's like look at the Yakuza, look at
they're not shooting up their communities.
all these other
Nigerians,
criminal
stuff like
groups.
that. And low key, if there
Like
is violence, it's inside of their establishment. So it's
yeah,
like, hey, we scammed you because you bought a bottle of champagne and it turns out that bottle of champagne was $500. Like, well, what you gonna do? Like, you already drank it. Like, and the thing is, they get a lot of drunk people because people come in there drunk and be like, yeah, hey man, we got bottles. Like, yeah, give me a bottle. How much is a bottle? $500. That's crazy. But the thing is, if you think about clubs, like you pay 300, 400, $500 for bottles in the club. Go buy a bottle of Patron at any club in America. Go buy a bottle of Patron in the club in Vegas. Damn near $3,000 probably. So it's not like they're doing anything illegal. They're doing exactly, it's essentially they're mimicking American capitalism, because if you go to Vegas, like everything is like marked up there. I paid $45 for 2 Vegas bombs, and I can get 2 Vegas bombs. And if I would have spent $45 on Vegas bombs in Little Rock, bro, like I could have had a small birthday party. Like for real. Like, you know, we would have all been turned. But the thing is that, so we know that there's an issue with like gangs not doing anything in America as far as like the community and things like that. But what is the solution?
I don't So overall, I don't think gangs will ever change. There will always be some semblance of, for lack of a better term, racism, because people for the most part stick to their own groups. And America kind of breeds this whole mentality of, you know, it's either you're gonna do for yourself or your own group, but either here nor there. I think ultimately with the black people, it's just a systemic thing that comes on with the whole black diaspora, is that we don't, or especially in Black America, where we don't have any form of like togetherness or unity, whether it be legally or illegally.
Well, that's the
So
thing too, is
you
like we
know,
have all these positive dudes that we follow on Instagram,
mhm,
and like literally their words, like what is it, 19
19
keys,
keys, yeah.
what is the other dude, the Donald dude, the jumping jack taxes.
Um, Donnell something. I know what you're
Yeah, but
talking about.
either
Yeah.
way, like, but these are positive male role models. Even Mike Rashad, like Simeon Panda, like these are four dudes that I follow who are doing like positive things, and they speak on things, and it's just like you have like far less views and comments on theirs compared to like some black chick just like on top of a car twerking, things like that. And all these females are in their comments like, oh, she killed that shit, blah, blah, blah,
But
this
it's
and
this,
that.
it's the
And you
same
got,
mentality. But it's the same mentality of that girl that we reviewed, who had a half naked shoot on their campus. It's the same, stupid mentality.
but that's the
Where it's
thing too, is like
yeah,
if these females are looking for high value men or men who have some type of morals and values, go to these dudes' posts, comment in there, see who responds to you, and
they're
then you go
boring.
from there, bro. I mean, they
They're
are.
boring.
Yeah, imagine a man trying to like be like successful and only going to work and working 24/7 and not having time to treat you like a princess every single point in time and not blow your back out like every time he comes home from working a 14-hour shift. Like that's I always feel like we're speaking on deaf ears because
Yeah.
how is it that we see the things, maybe it's just our experiences in life, like we've been through a lot of stuff, and I
I
just
think,
feel like there's a
yeah.
lot of things in the world that shouldn't be this hard to kind of like change, because as a gang member, like you see that you're like you wake up every morning and just be like, yo, like it's kill or be killed out here, and like nobody cares. I feel like a lot of these people have like one or two traumatizing events in their life happen, and then it's
Mhm.
just like, well, that's just how it is. And I think like if I thought like that, like yeah, I wouldn't have made it out of San Diego. But even though I had like a lot of traumatizing events happen in my life, I was always just like, I don't want to be stuck here. Um, so that's why like everybody's just like, oh, you left San Diego, this, and that. Like when you coming back, I was like, why? Like there was a reason why I left San Diego. And low key, every time I go home, I realize that nothing there is changing. Like the world
The
around
same old
us is,
same. Yeah.
yeah, it's like the world around us is changing. And even when I come home, like I was talking to my stepdad when I went home, and I was like, oh, San Diego's looking nice. Like, cause they cleaned up a lot of the areas that used to be like hella dirty and stuff like that. And he's
Mhm.
like, well, when you live here, you kind of just don't see those changes. And that's perspective. Like he stays there all the time, he lives there, so he never sees the small little changes. But every time I come back, I'm like, oh, they cleaned up this area, they cut trees over here, they did this, they opened a freeway here, like this is nice. But
Mhm.
it's all about perspective. That's why everybody tells you like you need to get out of your city, because you'll get caught up in this mentality of like this is all there is. And eventually I probably will go back to San Diego, but I'm definitely not living where I live. Like even though it's nicer, like any neighborhood with the Church's Chicken is not someplace you need to be living. Like period, bro. Like we had that discussion at work. It was like, bro, if your neighborhood got a Church's Chicken, you're definitely in the ghetto.
Yeah,
Like
you
you're in the
definitely.
hood.
Yeah,
And the worst
Patterson,
part
New
is
Jersey,
like,
bro. I
yeah, the
I
Church's
know.
Chicken is shut down. So it's like, oh, you know it's not safe out here, bro. Like Church's Chicken ain't even safe. And that Church's Chicken was like literally right across the street from the what you call it? Well, first it's by Martin Luther King Library, so you already
Boulevard.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you already know,
yeah,
right?
you already know what's up. But I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, we go into these conversations, like we try to get like really in depth in some conversations, and they may not be the most exciting ones. I know you guys like see our videos where some chick is like sucking some dude off with his mom, and that's like exciting, but
Hey,
like
yo.
skid marks on vacations and all types of stuff. But we're really not trying to harp on like stuff like that. We want to build a platform that actually eventually starts solving some of these problems or just getting different perspectives
Ideas out
from
there.
yeah, just like what is the real situation, because I see influence all the time preach the same stuff that we already know, and it's just like, how is this not common sense? So we want to hear back from you guys, kind of know like where you guys, what was your upbringing, and that way we can get a good picture all around encompass. But that's it for this boring podcast conversation. We'll be back with more wild stuff. So we got to turn on that feminist, put on my feminist coat and just be like, yo, believe all women. But until
We
next
believe
time,
all women here.
peace.